An exciting week at the Intra-Africa Trade Fair in Durban KwaZulu-Natal draws to a close, and we bring you the final episode of Focus on Trade and Investment KZN 2021. For the first time since the hard COVID-19 lockdown, the Durban ICC has been abuzz with activity.
It's been 18 months of lockdown, no movements, no events, nothing. The Durban ICC has now welcomed its first big event with the IATF. How does it feel, and what's the direct impact been on the ICC in terms of operations, job creation and such?
Thank you so much for having us as the Durban ICC. It's been a pleasure for us to open our doors to so many people, seeing the traffic, seeing so many people. You don't understand how much it makes us feel alive again, because the Durban ICC has been really quiet. With the COVID impacting us greatly. I think the last biggish event that we had of only 250 people was the UN celebration, which was end of October. But now this is the biggest after 18 months. And we are so excited because we know that the impact is really great, that will be felt by the communities. We really appreciate this big event.
Let's take a step back quickly. Now, obviously, the lockdown has had a significant impact and a knock-on effect on the Durban ICC. What impact did it have on its operations, on its revenue, on its staff?
I think you're aware that this COVID affected us greatly, business at large, but especially the tourism sector and the hospitality was affected greatly. We saw hotels closing left, right and center. Right outside my door, the Hilton Hotel also closed because they couldn't keep up with the work. We were blessed that our shareholder, which is eThekwini Municipality, made sure that we stay alive, and our board of directors and our chairman made sure that we keep everybody alive. So we were not able to, nobody lost their jobs. People were still carrying on working, and we were saved by the reserve that we have. But we then allowed those who were about to get retirement to take early retirement, so that saved us. But we had to go on a cost saving mission big time, so that we've been on that cost saving drive for a good 2 years now. And it's important to mention that we halved our expenses by 55%. But I must tell you that this lockdown took away the revenue that we normally make. We're only making about 15% now, purely because of COVID. So it's a great impact, and it crippled us big time. So we're happy to see that the lockdown has been eased down, and I hope it continues that way, because then we're going to be able to see more events like this coming back. We are getting inquiries. People want to come out. People want to come back and have face-to-face events, and that's what we're looking for. Doing virtual events and hybrid events, it's not the same. People are itching for face-to-face events. So we've got quite a few that are lined up for 2022. We've got quite a few that is lined up for 2023, which is a significant amount. And we are just praying that God really holds back this COVID so that we can be able to meet again and do these live events, because we need those face-to-face. We need that human interaction. And I think in the hospitality industry, we know how to, how to cooperate. You saw the COVID protocols that we've been doing here, making sure the screens are taken care of, everybody's wearing a mask, making sure that we're keeping the numbers to the required limits. I'm sure you realize that people have been told enough now. So it's important, because for us, we need to keep people safe. We need to keep people alive and healthy, and that's our mission.
We're standing at the Frexim Bank's stand, where I'm assuming there is going to be some activity about networking and deal signing. But what has your experiences been so far in the past few days at the IATF been?
I think it's a welcome event for South Africa, and particularly the city of Durban. Hosting the second IATF, it has brought together a very broad network of companies, of financiers, of government and civil society together in one platform to host the IATF. For us, it has been indeed a great exercise to expose more than 80 South African companies in the IATF to the opportunity for trade and investment with fellow companies on the African continent.
What kind of investment opportunities is there available for South Africa to help spur on the intra-Africa trade?
Well, investment opportunities is quite significant. It's infrastructure. In infrastructure, is the energy space mainly. Investment in ICT, and mainly I think in terms to encourage and deepen trade, the logistics infrastructure in South Africa as well as leading into the greater continent. Those are significant investment opportunities. For trade to flourish, you need a very efficient infrastructure on logistics platform itself.
I'm glad you touched on some of the sectors like our energy sector, because we are moving, there's a move towards the just transitioning. Considering some of the challenges we've experienced lately, what's the key messages you can get out there to investors to assure them that South Africa is still a destination of choice?
No, well, South Africa is moving pretty fast in terms of its just transition. The opportunity is open for companies. When the President announced the Schedule 2 amendment for independent power producer generation projects from 10 to 100 megawatts, you're seeing a number of companies now beginning to do that. You're seeing that the round 5 that was announced by the Minister of Energy, significant 25 projects announced. So we're moving pretty fast in terms of scaling up capacity in terms of renewable energy. So that in the medium to long term would stand us in good stead. Eskom is working day and night on its program of generation and distribution and becoming more functional and more efficient. So I think from us, the energy space is a space where we're looking at significant investment. We are putting in significant investment, and particularly private sector is investing in that, as well as you're getting financiers coming to looking at financing such projects for investment in South Africa. It is a process where South Africa will become an investment opportunity for decarbonization significantly, and that will be our value proposition going forward.
And then what is being done to help the SMME sector and your local communities to be part of the value chain for intra-Africa trade?
So what we're doing is we're trying to deepen trade, trying to provide a lot of support, trying to in this event we're doing a lot of matchmaking. As part of our pavilion, we have a significant amount of SMMEs to give them the exposure, but also to get them to meet the right kind of companies. I just did an exchange now with the Russian delegation to view and look at South African products that's on our pavilion. So by and large, our pavilion has a significant mix of SMMEs in various sectors, but also large companies present.
And anything of promising that could come to light?
I think that some of the companies that are there, particularly in the food sector, has great opportunities in the African continent. There are companies there that do energy meters, smart meters. There's great opportunity for them. There's companies that we have in the clothing, footwear, textile opportunities. We have companies in the rail space that are looking at collaboration and projects on the African continent. So I think from our side, there seems to be some good opportunity that potential deals or potential export contracts could be leveraged from this event.
Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. I want to start off by asking the purpose for you to be here at the IATF this year.
Well, as chair for the Africa Business Council, it's very crucial to be here because the Africa Business Council is the voice of the private sector. It is established in line with the heads of state's decision to boost our intra-Africa trade, to operationalize the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And as our founding vision of the Africa Business Council, it is to have a competitive, borderless, innovative Africa for trade, investment, and industrialization. So this is our mandate as the Africa Business Council, and it's actually the Africa Business Council as the voice of the private sector. It's inclusive membership. It includes all the business councils, the private sector federations, the Union of Industries, Manufacturer Association, the Chambers of Commerce, the large corporates, SMEs, women and youth entrepreneurs. So Africa Continental Free Trade Area is about trade. So who is going to implement the trade is the private sector. That's why our presence here is really crucial and mandatory, because it's us and the private sector who is going to do it. And if we are looking at the Africa we want and the prosperous, integrated Africa, driven by the citizens of Africa, so we are the citizens of Africa, including all our private sector, entrepreneurs, SMEs, women, youth. So the presence of the private sector is crucial for the whole operationalization of ACFTA, for the real implementation of ACFTA.
Speaking of the private sector here, you were in a panel yesterday, a thought panel about creating an enabling environment to promote a meaningful participation for women in a trade. Could you care to expand on that?
Well, actually, to really have implementation of ACFTA, we really need to have, I call it the triad of empowerment. And this triad of empowerment is 3 pillars. First pillar is private sector strengthening, including women and youth. Second is policy advocacy. So we need policies, we need enabling environment. And third is about product development. So with reference to the whole private sector strengthening, we need a capacity building for our private sector, our women, our youth. What is ACFTA? What does it mean to them? How we educate them to trade, how we educate them to export, how we build their capacity to have their enterprises, to know about the ACFTA, to masticate ACFTA. The second pillar with advocacy, and this about the enabling environment. How can the governments play its role of having a business environment that is really promoting our intra-Africa trade? One of the things that we are really working for is financial inclusion and access to credit. How can our entrepreneurs and our SMEs have access to financial products which suits them to boost their enterprises and to have our intra-Africa trade? Another policy that we are looking for is really about the government procurement, because we all know that for instance, regarding women, in the whole world there is $15 trillion government procurement. Women have only access to 1%. So if you come to all the African continent, we need at least 40% for all government procurement goes to African private sector, including women, youth, and SMEs. So this is part of the advocacy we are working. We're also looking for how the private sector could be part and parcel of the whole negotiation of ACFTA, because if only the government is not including the private sector, we are the one who are implementing it. So this is crucial for the private sector to be there. With reference to product development, if we talk about ACFTA, what are we going to trade among ourselves? We need a made in Africa product that is strong, standardized, quality, competitive, added value, branding, designing, packaging. We all know that Africa is the richest continent in the world, but really we need to manage our resources. We need to invest in our human resources to build their capacity and in natural resources to add value. So product development is crucial to implement ACFTA so that when we trade among ourselves, we trade a made in Africa product.